Imagine feeling a divine surge of energy every time you let go of a painful memory or shatter a limiting belief. A burst that lights up your whole being like a cosmic high dose of euphoria. And imagine that most of us are tossing that priceless fuel into the abyss. Stay with me for the next 15 minutes and I'll reveal the hidden mistake that drains this quantum power and show you how to capture it, transform it, and use it to fuel your highest purpose. I've spent the last 8 years diving deep into quantum consciousness, ancient tantra, and modern neuroscience, watching countless people experience that electric rush when a trauma finally releases. I call that moment quantum containment, the practice of holding the energetic spike that erupts when a limiting belief collapses, instead of letting it slip away. When we fail to contain it, the result is the familiar feeling of fatigue, endless cravings, and a nagging sense that something essential is missing from our lives. In this video, I'll walk you through the science behind that sacred high, expose the common error of dumping it into the lower centers of our being, and give you 3 concrete tools to keep that energy alive and directed toward illumination and reality creation. First, let's see what actually happens in your body when you finally forgive yourself or release a deep wound. On a quantum level, the brain's predictive model collapses, rewriting the internal story that has been holding you hostage. This collapse generates a coherent electromagnetic field that ripples through every cell, a wave of new possibility that neuroscientists measure as a surge of dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins. That mix creates the ecstatic feeling you might recognize as a tingling up the spine, a sudden lift in the chest, or a flash of light behind the eyes. Your nervous system is essentially switching from static noise to a laser beam frequency, and your body registers it as pure, high-frequency energy. Now, here's where most of us go wrong. The ancient chakra system maps energy frequencies onto different centers of the body. The crown and third eye chakras hold the highest, most non-dual frequencies, while the sacral and solar plexus chakras act as energy sinks. When that quantum burst occurs, the natural tendency of the nervous system is to discharge it into the lowest available outlet. That's why you might find yourself reaching for a binge of food, an intense sexual session, scrolling endlessly on your phone, or slipping into a substance habit right after a breakthrough. Those behaviors are not just bad habits. They are the body's way of dumping the divine spark into the lower vortex, where it quickly dissipates into ordinary pleasure and then fades, leaving you feeling empty and craving the next high. Think about Anna, a client who felt an unmistakable rush after finally forgiving a childhood betrayal. Within minutes, she was snacking on a bag of chips, feeling a brief comfort before the high vanished, and she spiraled back into the same feeling of lack. Her story illustrates the universal pattern. We receive a burst of sacred energy, then instinctively redirect it into the lowest channels, squandering the very fuel that could illuminate our path. So how do we stop this leak? The answer lies in a simple 3-step blueprint that turns the fleeting spark into lasting power. First, you must recognize the spike. A quick body scan during a breath pause can reveal the tingling, the heart expansion, the electric buzz that signals a new energetic frequency. Second, you anchor that spike in the upper centers. Visualize the surge rising like a luminous column to the crown. Then seal it with a mantra such as, "I hold this light. I become the light." This mental seal keeps the high-frequency vibration coherent, preventing it from slipping down. Third, you convert the sealed energy into creative power. Choose a clear intention, a project, a relationship goal, a piece of art, and pair it with the feeling of the burst, stating something like, "I claim this vision now, fueled by my pure energy." To make this work in daily life, adopt a micro-meditation of 30 seconds right after any breakthrough. Repeat the anchoring mantra and then write in a journal, "What just rose? How will I use it?" You can also use a physical cue, like gently touching the top of your head with the thumb and forefinger, to remind yourself that the energy is pinned there, ready to be directed. When you practice this consistently, the energy stays coherent, amplifying focus, creativity, and a deep sense of purpose instead of evaporating into fleeting pleasures. What do you think about this pattern of energy leakage? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your experiences. Now imagine a life where every time you release a trauma, you capture that quantum fuel and pour it into the creation of your most authentic reality. You would feel consistently energized, your cravings would lessen, and you would move through each day with a sense of purpose that feels almost divine. By holding the burst, you transform it from a momentary high into a steady stream that powers your highest aspirations. This is the essence of quantum containment, and it is available to anyone willing to practice the simple steps we've explored. If this is opening your eyes, hit subscribe and join the journey as we dive deeper into mastering this sacred energy together. And as you begin to see this pattern unfolding in your own life, you might notice that the moments when you feel most alive are precisely those when you have caught that spark before it slips away. Imagine waking up after a night of deep rest, feeling the subtle hum of the universe still resonating in your chest, and knowing that you have a reservoir of pure, undiluted energy waiting for you to shape it. This is not a mythic fantasy reserved for mystics in distant monasteries. It is a practical, reproducible state that anyone can cultivate with a little awareness and intention. Let's explore a few real-world scenarios that illustrate how the same principle works across different aspects of daily living. First, consider the professional setting. You have just delivered a presentation that finally articulates a vision you have been nurturing for months. As you close the last slide, you sense a surge of exhilaration, a warm glow spreading from your throat to the top of your head. In many cases, people would celebrate with a celebratory drink or a night out, instantly redirecting that energy into a fleeting pleasure. Instead, you can pause, place a hand lightly on your crown, breathe in the feeling of completion, and then ask yourself, what is the next step that this energy can fuel? Perhaps it is drafting a proposal that expands the scope of the project, or mentoring a colleague who could benefit from your insight. By channeling the burst into purposeful action, you not only sustain the momentum, but also create a ripple effect that amplifies the original achievement. Next, think about personal relationships. You have just resolved a long-standing argument with a partner, and the tension that once weighed you down lifts like a veil. The relief that follows is often accompanied by a sudden desire for comforting food or a marathon of mindless television. While those habits provide temporary distraction, they also drain the newly liberated energy, sending it back into the lower centers where it dissipates as guilt or regret later on. Instead, you might take a moment to sit together, hold each other's hands, and breathe in the shared sense of release. As you exhale, envision that light rising, filling the space between you, and then set an intention to nurture this renewed harmony, perhaps by planning a creative activity you both enjoy, like painting a mural or cooking a new recipe together. The act of co-creating becomes the vessel for the high-frequency energy, strengthening the bond and reinforcing the positive shift. Even in moments of solitude, such as during a meditation or a quiet walk in nature, the same dynamics apply. When a thought pattern finally loosens, say, the belief that you are not worthy of love, you may feel a sudden expansion in the heart, a gentle tingling along the spine. This is the quantum pulse announcing that a limiting construct has collapsed. The temptation might be to sit down and indulge in a sugary snack, rewarding yourself for getting through the mental work. Yet that choice simply trades one form of dependency for another, sending the precious frequency down into the gut and away from the higher centers that thrive on clarity. Instead, you could pause, place your hands over your heart, And repeat a simple affirmation. I honor this freedom. I nurture this light. Then, with the same breath, visualize the energy anchoring itself in the crown, and imagine it radiating outward as a beacon that attracts opportunities aligned with your authentic self. In this way, a solitary inner shift becomes a catalyst for external manifestation. Now, let's address a subtle but common obstacle: the habit of intellectualizing the experience. When you first encounter a surge of pure energy, the mind often rushes to label it, to dissect it, to turn it into a concept rather than feeling it. While understanding the science behind dopamine spikes and electromagnetic fields can be empowering, overanalysis can also fragment the coherence of the energy, scattering it across mental chatter. The key is to hold a balance, acknowledge the underlying mechanisms, but then return to the felt sense, the direct experience. One practical way to do this is to set a timer for a brief period, perhaps a minute or two, where you allow yourself to observe the sensations without naming them. Notice the temperature of the breath, the rhythm of the heartbeat, the subtle vibration in the fingertips. After this window, you can gently return to the intellectual layer, linking the experience to its broader context. This dance between feeling and knowing preserves the integrity of the energy while also integrating it into your evolving understanding. Another nuance worth exploring is the role of breath as a conduit. Breath is the most immediate bridge between the nervous system and the subtle energy fields that flow through the body. When you inhale, you invite fresh life force. When you exhale, you release stagnation. By synchronizing your breath with the moment of release, you can amplify the quantum burst. For example, after a breakthrough, take a deep inhalation, feeling the air fill the lower abdomen and rise up the spine. And then exhale slowly, visualizing the luminous spike traveling upward, merging with the crown. As you do this, silently repeat a phrase that embodies your intention, something like, I am the vessel of this light. I channel this power into creation. This simple breath anchoring practice can be performed anywhere, whether you are sitting at a desk, standing in a crowded room, or lying in bed, ensuring that the energy remains high frequency and does not melt into the background noise of daily life. Let's also consider the social dimension of quantum containment. Energy, in its most refined form, is not only personal. It resonates with the collective field. When you consistently hold and direct your bursts, you begin to emit a subtle but persistent frequency that others can sense, even if they are not consciously aware of it. This can create a magnetic attraction, drawing people who are aligned with your vibration into your orbit. Conversely, if you repeatedly disperse your energy into lower cravings, you may find yourself surrounded by those who thrive on similar patterns, reinforcing a cycle of depletion. By consciously choosing to contain and uplift, you not only transform your own life trajectory, but also influence the energetic landscape around you, encouraging a shift toward higher consciousness in your community. You might wonder how to track progress in such an intangible practice. While there is no conventional scoreboard, there are subtle markers that indicate you are becoming more adept at containment. One sign is a reduction in the intensity of cravings after a breakthrough. You no longer feel an urgent need to reach for food, sex, or screen time as a way to fill the void. Another indicator is an increased sense of clarity and presence throughout the day. Thoughts no longer feel scattered, and you can sustain focus on a task without the mind drifting back to old patterns. Additionally, you may notice that creative ideas flow more effortlessly, as if the mind is a clear channel rather than a clogged pipe. Pay attention to these qualitative shifts, and consider keeping a brief daily log where you note the moments of release, the actions you took to contain the energy, and the outcomes that followed. Over time, patterns will emerge, reinforcing the habit and deepening your skill set. It is also valuable to address the myth that quantum containment requires a strict regimen or a rigid schedule. In reality, the practice is most effective when it remains fluid, adapting to the rhythm of your life. Think of it as a dance rather than a drill. When a surge arises, you respond with the three-step sequence recognition, anchoring, creative direction. But the exact expression of each step can vary. Some days you might use a brief mantra, other days a physical gesture, and still other times a simple visual cue. The essential element is consistency of intention, not uniformity of method. Allow yourself the flexibility to experiment, to discover which gestures feel most natural, which visualizations evoke the strongest resonance, and which words carry the deepest meaning for you. As you continue to practice, you may encounter deeper layers of release transcending not just a single trauma or limiting belief, but entire narratives that have shaped your identity for years. When a core story about yourself finally collapses, the resulting quantum burst can be overwhelming, a flood of light that momentarily blinds. In those moments, patience and gentleness become vital. Give yourself permission to sit with the intensity, to breathe through it, and to let the energy settle gradually into the higher centers. You might find that the process takes longer, perhaps requiring a series of micro-meditations spread over several days. But the payoff is proportionally greater. A more profound sense of liberation and an expanded capacity to hold even larger currents of divine energy. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on the broader implications of mastering this skill. When you learn to capture and redirect the purest form of your inner power, you are essentially rewiring the relationship you have with reality itself. The world no longer appears as a series of obstacles that drain you. Instead, it becomes a canvas where each brushstroke is infused with the vibrancy of your awakened frequency. Challenges transform into opportunities to apply your refined energy, and successes become platforms for further elevation. In this way, quantum containment is not merely a personal wellness technique. It is a catalyst for a shift in consciousness that can ripple outward, influencing how societies perceive growth, achievement, and fulfillment. Now, think about a concrete goal you have been nurturing: a project, a creative pursuit, a health transformation. Visualize that goal as a seed, waiting for the right nourishment. The quantum burst you generate after a breakthrough is the most potent fertilizer you could provide. By intentionally channeling that surge into the seed, you accelerate its growth, allowing it to sprout faster and stronger than it would have with ordinary effort alone. This analogy underscores the practical advantage of containment. You are not merely adding more work hours or willpower. You are infusing the endeavor with a high-frequency catalyst that aligns it with the fundamental fabric of possibility. In the spirit of sharing, I invite you to try a simple exercise right now. Close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, and recall a recent instance where you felt a release, a forgiving thought, a moment of clarity, an instance of letting go. Feel that lingering echo in your body, the subtle vibration that may still be present. Now, without opening your eyes, place your fingertips gently on the top of your head, as if you were lightly pressing a button. Inhale, visualizing the energy rising like a luminous column, and exhale, sealing it with the affirmation, I hold this light, I become the light. Hold that sensation for a few breaths, allowing the energy to settle, and then think of one specific action you can take in the next 24 hours that aligns with the intention you set during the release. When you open your eyes, write down that action and commit to carrying it out. This micro-practice embeds the quantum burst into a tangible step, reinforcing the habit of containment. As you integrate these practices, you may notice subtle shifts in how you perceive time itself. Moments of high-frequency energy can seem to expand, giving you a sense that you have more time to act, to create, to be present. This is not an illusion, but a natural consequence of aligning with a higher vibrational state. Your consciousness begins to operate in a broader bandwidth, allowing you to process information more efficiently and respond with greater clarity. Embrace this feeling as a sign that you are moving deeper into the flow of quantum containment. Before we close, let's address a lingering question that often arises. What if the energy feels too intense, too overwhelming to handle? The answer lies in the principle of gradual scaling. Just as a muscle strengthens with incremental load, your capacity to hold higher frequencies expands with consistent, measured practice. Start with brief moments of containment, perhaps a 10-second pause after a minor insight, and gradually extend the duration as you become more comfortable. If at any point the sensation becomes uncomfortable, return to a grounding breath, visualizing the energy gently flowing down to the root, stabilizing you before you reascend. This dance of rise and return ensures that you never push beyond your current threshold, preserving safety and fostering sustainable growth. Imagine now a future version of yourself who has fully integrated quantum containment into daily life. You wake each morning aware that any emotional or mental shift carries an opportunity to harvest divine fuel. You move through relationships with a calm confidence, knowing that you can transform conflict into creative synergy. Your work is no longer a grind, but a flowing expression of your highest potential, powered by a steady stream of purified energy. Even the moments of rest become fertile ground for subtle breakthroughs, as your nervous system remains attuned to the subtle currents that swirl around you. This vision is not a distant fantasy. It is the natural outcome of consistently practicing the steps we have explored together. If you feel this resonates with you, I encourage you to share your experiences in the comments, whether you have already tried anchoring a burst after a breakthrough, or you are just beginning to notice these patterns. Your stories not only reinforce your own learning, but also create a supportive community where others can draw inspiration. Together, we can map the terrain of this subtle yet powerful practice, helping each other stay accountable and celebrate the small victories along the way.